So, Johnny, can you give us some thoughts on the US dollar, as this has proved to be a very popular subject in digital bytes?
Sure. Well, this, as you say, the topic keeps coming up in digital bytes, and people interested in the possibility of the US dollar being replaced as the world reserve currency. And if you look at the foreign exchange market, the FX market, typically this was seen as a zero-sum game, in the sense that if you sort of sold the yen or pound or euro or dollar, and the price of that went down as there's more sellers than buyers, then another currency, maybe the Swiss franc, would actually rise in value. And this was sort of true all the time. There was an alternative to fiat currencies. Some people have argued that, okay, so are we going to see gold as a proxy coming back, as indeed we have seen in the past? But the trouble is, gold's price is linked very much to the dollar. So if there is a flight and a demand for gold, then people are going to have to buy dollars in order that they can buy gold. But this has actually manifested. We've seen in the last 24 months, the price of gold has risen by some 68%. And so in theory, this should have actually been helping the price of dollar itself. However, now we've got the advent of these things called cryptocurrencies. And arguably, this is an alternative asset class. So if you want to sell a fiat currency, it's possible to sell your fiat-priced bonds, equities, property, and go and buy an alternative asset, i.e. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, but not a stable coin, because obviously these are usually tied to fiat currency. But there's been a considerable talk of the value of the dollar actually falling, and indeed the economist Stephen Roach is even proposing that because of COVID, the dollar's collapse is now inevitable. With the recent nearly 33% decline in the US economy, it's now beginning to see the impact that COVID-19's had on the world's biggest economy, i.e. the USA. And with unemployment rising and the Fed continuing to print money, it's not hard to see why the US dollar is struggling. And indeed, in the last couple of months, we've seen the US dollar fall in value by about 11% against a basket of other fiat currencies. Now, whether cryptos, ACA, Bitcoin, Ethereum will rally as the world economy struggles and looks like it's going into the worst recession that we've seen since the 30s, only time will tell. But it's probably a good idea to remember the adage not to have all your eggs in one basket. And property, equities and bonds, they've all had an amazing run. And maybe it's time to take some chips out of the casino and hold some sort of real alternative.